Hello, BookTube. Well, it's going to be a hot and humid day here in Boston, and that reminded me of the summer book tag, which I should probably have done at the beginning of June. It feels like 2 seconds ago, and is now long gone. I didn't do it then, and I thought I'd do it now. uh, but first, let's see if we can do this, since you all seem to like it. They are the babies, sound asleep on their little blanket. Well, Lucy's on the blanket. Malin's mostly on Lucy. Anyway, here we go. It's the summer book tag. Question number 1. What 3 books do you want to read this summer? I won't get snarky. I've read quite a few books this summer. But there are 3 that I want to read still in August that I haven't got to. I want to show you them. First one is Christy Wilcox, Venomous. This is a book about not just all the venomous creatures on Earth, but what it costs them to be venomous, the biochemistry involved in generating venom. It's a very costly thing for an animal to do, so you have to weigh out why are they doing it and what are the benefits. And it strikes a special note with me, since I've been bitten, stuck, and stung by almost every venomous creature on Earth. So I'll be reading about old friends. Another one is something I think applies much more to the rest of you than it does to me, but it's a fascinating subject. It's Kenneth Goldsmith, Wasting Time on the Internet. That is I don't know if you can see it with the glare, but that is a kitten. Here, let's see if we can fix this. That is a kitten with a pause sign in the middle. Probably can't see it with the glare, but that's all right. It's all about the vast swampy morasses of the internet where nothing productive ever gets done and how much time people spend there. I think the book will be fascinating. And the third one is this, Clive James, Play All, which is a dream come true. James really started his career as a television critic, one of the first people in the modern era to show that really intelligent, thought-provoking criticism could be done about television, which at the time was viewed as a throwaway genre. This was 50 years ago. This book comes about by an unhappy chance. He's sick. He's had leukemia for quite some time now, and it occasionally slows him down from reading and writing. And he found himself binge watching TV. The books on this cover that you can't see are Game of Thrones, Band of Brothers, The West Wing, and The Sopranos. And in classic Clive James fashion, decided, well, if I'm binge watching these things, I should write about them, and not just write about them, but write about the phenomenon of binge watching. I'm really going to miss this guy if he ever actually does die. But the idea of reading Clive James on long form television, which I think is one of the great new art forms of the 21st century, is just so enticing. I put it off until I had the finished hardcover because I want an index to cross-reference it. And as an extra bonus, there'll be a romance. There'll be The Virgin and the Viscount by Charis Michaels, which I haven't got to yet. Question number 2. Which character most embodies the traits of summer? First thing that came to mind is from one of my favorite bits in cartoon history, and that is Heat Miser from The Year Without a Santa Claus. Well, some like it hot, but I like it really hot. Someday, when I do one of the restricted sections style videos where I'm drinking on camera, I will sing the song. Both him and Cold Miser, I love them both. Question number 3. What book do you most associate with the physicality of summer? There are quite a few. There's Dune, of course, by Frank Herbert, which is the subject of a No Steve Allowed read-along that Adam at Memento Mori is conducting. Hope you're all enjoying it. Mm-hmm. There's also The Odyssey, which I read every August, and so naturally associate with summer. But there's one I wanted to show you, because it's out of print, and it's really good. I highly recommend it. It's, let me see if I can find the picture here, although the pictures aren't doing any good for us, are they? It's Journey into Summer by Edwin Way Teale, where he follows the summer across the country. He's a naturalist and natural history writer, and just wonderful. He did 4 seasonal books. He wrote a lot of other things, but he did 4 seasonal books, and the summer book, winter, fall, and spring, and they're all great. And they're all out of print, which is a terrible shame. Somebody ought to do a nice reprint set. They're timeless. And they're full of his own photography in black and white, beautiful black and white, which is amazing. Question number 4, what kinds of books do you like to read on holiday? Any books that evoke memories of certain places? I'll read all kinds of books on holiday. And the books that evoke memories of certain places, not really, except that, you associate a place with, you tend sometimes to associate a place with where you read a great book for the first time. And that happened to me on vacation many, many times. What I would usually do was pack a couple of old and true standard classics that I could for vacation, and then do most of my reading by foraging locally. Go to the used bookstores wherever we happen to go. Those locations were the coast of southern Maine, Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, but especially, more than anything else, Cape Cod, which at the time and still had a very hearty and very good selection of used bookstores. I won't be getting to the Cape this year. It's a shame. Question number 5. If you could go on holiday with any author, who would it be, where would you go, and what would you talk about? I actually have an unconventional answer in mind here. It's an author named Alex Day. I don't know how many of you will know that name. He was one of the first stars of YouTube. Hit 1 million subscribers, and then hit a scandal. A series of accusations engulfed him, brought his channel to a stop, brought his flourishing music career to a stop. He briefly defended himself against those accusations and then disappeared for half a year. And at the time, I was furious, thinking, "What a betrayal of trust! You get an audience of teenage girls who love you, and you decide to take advantage of that." I have since started to think that maybe there was an element of mobbery involved in what happened to him. In fact, I'm almost sure of it. I to put it mildly, begin to recognize the signs. Not to minimize what I'm sure was jerkish behavior on his part, but he was 20, and that goes with the territory. And it doesn't sound to me in retrospect like anything near as bad as what was said actually happened. And that was the line that he took when he eventually returned to YouTube. But in the midst of all of that, no matter what happens, no matter what the truth of it was, I would love to hear it from him. I would love to hear him talk about it on vacation together. I would just pick a spot, on the Costa Brava or somewhere, and just talk to him. But not just about that. I would also want to talk about his book, because it turns out that in addition to everything else, he's a very talented writer. I think he's a tremendously talented songwriter. But he had a book. He wrote a book called The Underground Storyteller about the London Underground, and was under contract with Penguin, on track for a major literary career. And the scandal derailed that, and he eventually had to, publish the book independently, publish it himself. And I downloaded it and I read it, and it's quite entertaining. It's quite talented, especially for someone who must have written it very fast. So my answer would be him. It wouldn't be Henry James or Shakespeare or anything like that. I'd like to go on a week's vacation with Alex Day and find out, what happened to him from his point of view. Because sooner or later, someone is going to write the history of YouTube. Someone's going to write that book sooner or later. It's not going to be these YouTube celebrity book-like items. It's going to be an actual history, a narrative history of BookTube, and he will feature largely in it. He'll have to. And I'd love to know that story. In fact, I'd love to write that book. Anyway, a long answer. Number 6. What's your book of the year so far? These tags keep wanting me to preview my epic year-end Steve Reed's rundown of every book and the best and worst of them all. And I'm not ready to do that in summertime. But I do have a few that I want to show you or talk to you about. The first one, of course, you already know, is Ingratitude by Jenny Diskey, her memoir of cancer. The second one is The Nix by Nathan Hill, a big debut novel that I think I've shown on this channel before. I hadn't read it when I unpacked it, but I have read it since, and it's amazingly good. I highly recommend it. Another one would be Augustine by Robin Lane Fox. Let me see if I have the pictures don't seem to be doing too well here, but we'll give it a try. Augustine by Robin Lane Fox. It's a big thing, 600 pages long, but it's very good about St. Augustine. And also another one I've mentioned on this channel before, Heat and Light by Jennifer Haig. A novel about a depressed coal town that the mines have closed, business all gone away, and all of a sudden natural gas is discovered, and the town has to make lots of hard decisions with all sorts of money-grubbing hucksters flowing in, sensing a kill. It's just an amazing book. I can't recommend it high enough. Question number 7. How did you spend your summer holidays as a child? Well, as I mentioned, Cape Cod. The seasons of Cape Cod, the summer on Cape Cod. I know it's a trite thing to say, and people say it about lots of places that don't deserve it, but Cape Cod is an enchanted place. I'm sorry that I can't get there this year, but maybe in the future. And question number 8, what are your plans for the summer? I can show them to you. Those are my plans for the summer. Making sure they're comfortable, cleaning up their pee, making sure their food is mushed, making sure they can get up and down off the furniture, trying my best to make them happy, and in exchange getting occasional nearsighted, misplaced licks that are meant to go on my nose but end up all over. That's my plan for the summer and for the fall as well. And that's it. That is the summer book tag. I have no idea who to tag because I'm coming to this so late. If you haven't done it, if you've done it, I've seen you. And if you haven't done it, I want to see you because we still have a few weeks left of summer. And in just a few years, we'll have months left of summer. And a few years after that, you will be telling your kids about a season called winter that they will never experience and that they'll only read about in books. So, by all means, do the summer tag while it's still a fun thing. Thank you, BookTube.